you to open your Sidurim on page 186. Mode ani lefanecha melech chai vekayam shechesarta binishmati בחמלה רבה אמונתך מודה אני לפניך רוח חי וקיים שחסרת בנשמתי Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Boker Tov, everybody. Good morning. It's very good to see you in this morning of Shabbat and to start Shabbat together in community. This is a very special Shabbat because we are doing doubles. We are reading a double Torah portion. What Torah portion we are reading this week? Perfect. And we have another double. What's the other double, Reuben? It's your bar mitzvah. We are celebrating Reuben's second bar mitzvah. They say, the book of Psalms says that a lifespan is 70 years. They didn't know, the people of California. But says that it's 70 years. And then says, if you live another 10 years, those are years of strength. And then some remarkable Jews say, well, if a lifespan is 70 years, 13 years later, bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. And so we have Reuben here even a bit after 13 years later. He took his time. And here he's going to be coming up to the Torah later on and sharing some wonderful words of wisdom. We will now turn our Sidurim to page 192 as we acknowledge the words that we read in... we don't acknowledge the words that we read. We acknowledge our community, but we will recite the words that we read in our Torah portion today. Matovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. How wonderful is this tent, this home that we build together. אשתחווה לך הר קודשך ויראתך אדוני ויאהבתי בחום ביתך, ומקום משכן כבודך, ואני אשתחווה בבכרה, אברך לפני אדוני עושי. ואני תפילתי לך, אדוני יהיה רצון, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת אישך. We will now turn our Sidurim to page 194 as we take a moment for the blessing, for the well-being of our bodies. I invite you to take a moment and think about your own body, to think about what part of your body needs some special attention in this morning of Shabbat. And you can choose 194 or one of the alternative readings on page 195. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. And in the shifting, in the turning of pages between page 194 and 196, between the blessing for our bodies and the blessing for our souls, there is the space for the work that we do to connect our bodies, to connect our lives with our souls. Sometimes that work, or very often that work, is represented by our talitot, that it's tzitziot, it's a reminder of the mitzvot and how we want to live our lives. So in this morning, Cantor and David will present their father and father-in-law with a talit.
So I just wanted to say a couple things. It won't take more than 20 minutes.
Solid.
I will, but okay, so first, you don't stop studying when you get old. You get old when you stop studying. Well, I don't remember you quite saying this phrase. I'm pretty sure that you live every day with that motto. So I've heard sometimes it's a challenge to get bar and bat mitzvah students to study and practice. I can say with conviction, this was not an issue for you. Dad, I appreciate you as a role model, as a lifelong learner, and specifically of Torah. Second, we heard the rabbi talk about 70. There's also in Perkei Avot, 70 as the term reaching the fullness of years. So it's a starting over of sorts, and it's why some 13 years later, give or take, it's a custom to have a second bar mitzvah. The joy of this tradition reminds us that we cannot rewrite the past, but we can start anew with the fullness of years, the openness to new ideas, working to make the world a better place. Dad, we're very proud of you on this day. I know Mom, blessed memory, would be ecstatic because that's the kind of person that she was. Just one more quote from Perkei Avot. If you have studied much Torah, your reward will be abundant. Dad, may your reward be abundant. Love you.
continue our service on page 196 with the blessing for our souls. Elohai neshama
שנתת בי טהורה היא. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי
sovereign of all souls. Praised are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai, asher beyado nefesh kol chai, beruach kol basar ish. We're on page 198 for Birkot HaShachar.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לשכבי בינה להבחין בין יום ובין לילה.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם זוקף כפופים.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaber.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מלביש ערומים.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המעביר שעיניי מעיניי ותנומה מעפעפיי.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בצלם אלוהים.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשני ישראל.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזר ישראל בגבורה.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael betihifara. You can join us on page 204 for the blessing for the study of Torah, a reminder of daily engaging with our values, with our core values, with the source of our strength.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה.
O Adonai, our God, the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths and the mouths of your people Israel, so that we and our descendants and the descendants of all your people Israel may know you by studying your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. You can follow Rabbi Walden on page 206.
These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study this morning, morning and evening, I should say, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for a wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, making peace among people, but the study of Torah encompasses them all.
We now turn our Sidurim to page 212 for the blessing for the Psukei, the Simbra, the songs of praise, in which we undertake the task of uplifting our souls through song.
Baruch Shemar, Haya Haolam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hoseh, Bereshit, Baruch Omer, Ve'oseh, Baruch Goseh, Umekayem, Baruch Merachem, Al Haaretz, Baruch Merachem, Al Habriot, Baruch Meshalem, Sachar Tov L'Reav, Baruch Chai Lahad, V'Kayam Lanetzach, Baruch Podeh, U'Ma'atzir, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Rai Rai, Ya Rai 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 Rai, Ya Rai 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 Rai, Ya Rai 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 Rai, Ya Rai 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 Rai, Ya Rai 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 Rai. Songs of praise, we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, for you are the source of life in the universe. And God, life of the universe, praise and glorious ruler, your name is eternal. Ya Rai 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 Rai, Melech Me'ulal, Batishbachot, Baruch Atah, Adonai, Melech Me'ulal, Batishbachot. We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 214 as we commence the Psukei de Simbra in Shabbat with Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, we grant Shabbat, a wonderful song. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Try that. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'yom HaShabbat.
We are at the top of page 215. Happy are those who dwell in your house. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la la la. Ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני 215, 216. Or alternatively, you can take a moment to think about what's that place of connection and joy for you. At the bottom of page 216. ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם. Alleluia. Page 218. כל הנשמה תהלליה, הללו, הללויה. כל הנשמה תהלליה, הללו, הללויה. הללו, הללו, הללו,
God of the first and the last, God of all creatures, who master of all generations, who is praised in a multitude of praises, who guides the world with abundant loving kindness, and all creatures with mercy. Adonai neither slumbers nor sleeps. God awakens the sleeping, arouses those who slumbers, and gives speech to the mute. God loosens the bonds of the captives. God supports the fallen and strengthens those who are bent over. You alone do we acknowledge.
And on page 220. Hilufinu male shira kayam ushonenu rina yamon gala vesiftotenu sheva kemerchavei rakia enenu meinot kashemesh vekayare. Page 222 for the last part of Nishmat Kol Chai and the blessing that concludes the Psukei de Simra.
שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו וכתוב רננו צדיקים אדוני לישרים נאווה תהילה בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסדים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ובמחלות טובות עמך בית ישראל ברינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות הבוכה בשירי זמרה מלך אל חיי העולמים.
Page 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמרה ומבורך לעולם עולם מהמיה יתברך וישתבח יפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו נעלם מן כה בחטא ושירתה תושבחתה בנחמתה תמירן ועמה ויאמרו אמן.
We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 226. Please rise for Barhu, the prayer in which we start walking toward the Shema, and we acknowledge also the diversity, the beauty of our community. Seated. ברוך אתה, אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור, ובורא חושך, עושה שלום, ובורא את הכל. How numerous are your works, Adonai. I am in the middle of page 228. And if you like, we can read together. In your goodness, you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom, you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands. and for the lights you created, may they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer hameorot. Aber Rabba, Avtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, chemla gdola veitera, chamalta aleinu. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. Enlighten our eyes with your Torah, focus our minds on your mitzvot, unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name. Then we will never feel shame, never deserve rebuke, and never stumble. Having trusted in your great and awesome holiness, we shall celebrate your salvation with joy. Guide us in peace from the four corners of the earth and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, were wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praised be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, abocher, be'amo Israel, be'ahava. We will now turn our theory into page 232.
Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We're on page 234.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לתותבות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Please join me in the middle of page 236. Adonai said to Moses as follows, "Speak to the Israelite people and instruct to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all the commandments of Adonai and observe them, so that you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge."
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohim, we continue with the silent reading over page 238. אמת ביציבהו בחביבין עליו בטוב יפה דבר עשה לנו ללהם בהת מתאבל אלוהים מלכנו צועק ומגן שנו לדור בדור קיים ושמו In great joy, Moshe, Miriam, and Israel responded with song to you, all of them proclaiming, "Who is like you, O God? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai." We are on page 240. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar v'kodesh,
נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאולים, לשמחה על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם באל.
To rise and turn your sidurim to page 242 for Tfilat Amidah. Adonai, Sfatai tiftach. Ufi yagid
וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מחכל חיים בחסד מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים תומך נופלים ברופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבולות ומי דומה לך מלך מימית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל
לקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, אקרא אל סבא עמם.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ, כבודו, אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו, אחד הוא אלוהינו, אבינו מלכנו, מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה, לטובתו נקיקותיך, נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
יזמור בחודש השם. אלוהינו ורעיותינו ואבותינו. ברוך אתה לציון, אומרים אנחנו נשתנו אלינו ולאבותינו עולם. שם טוב.
Page 258.
שלום, טובה וברכה, שים שלום, טובה וברכה, שים שלום,
Adonai המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses the people of Israel and all peoples with the ability to be makers of peace. We'll now turn our Sigurim to page 300. I almost removed like 100.
362.
In order to commence our Torah service. Please rise as we open the ark, but you don't have to do that before that.
Elohim Adonai Kemaasecha Malchutecha Malchut Kol Olamim Umemshaltecha Bechol Dor Ador Adonai Melech Adonai Malach
Adonai Imlov Leolam Adonai Oslam Hoitehen Adonai Yevarech Et Amo Vashalom Ki Mitzion Tetzeh Torah Ki Mitzion Tetzeh Torah Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim
Baruch Shenatan Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael V'kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo
Gadol Adonai Uneromema Shemo Yachdav
ושמו בשלום. היי, 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 hiy. You may be seated. You may be seated. Reuben, we're going to put you here in the middle. Come. We're going to give you here. Stay here, next to the Torah. Stay here. To the left of the Torah. We're going to remove this one. You can put your notes up there. Is this tall enough? Good.
That's good.
I'll take care of that. Go see. So I'll take care of your father-in-law for a couple of minutes, and then you have the rest of your life to do that. Wait, don't start speaking. I'll put this way. Okay, it's more complicated than that. Okay. No, not good enough. We're gonna twist this. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get it. Here it is. Here you go. Now read slowly, Reuben. Last student I had here in this beam, I told him he didn't listen to me. But that's common for any student, right? But you're a teacher, so
Okay.
should I introduce you?
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
knows
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So Reuben is coming up to the Torah for the second time. And we'll say more words about Reuben, but if there is something that is clear about you, Reuben, is your love for your family and your love for Torah. And you are not only, you know what, I'll say this the other way around. When we acknowledge a student or a big teacher, we actually say, Utalmid Chacham.
Okay.
We don't recognize great teachers in our tradition. What we recognize is great students. So you are a great teacher, but most importantly, you are a committed student of Torah. You're a Talmid Chacham. And it's such an honor and a privilege to study Torah at least once a week with you. But I think that different people here are in different Torah study groups or Talmud study groups with you. So certainly you are a committed student, and you study with many, many, many people. And your words and your interaction has touched not only your life, but also the lives of those that's around you. Read slowly.
Exactly. Yeah, okay, slowly. Okay, thank you for that. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to everyone for being here. It's Shabbat. We are all here. Let's continue to celebrate this beautiful new day with gratitude, prayer, being grateful, and with joy. You probably noticed that I look different than a typical bar mitzvah boy. And you might wonder what I'm doing here. Well, several influences have led me to this day. And the first one comes from the Talmud, and thank you, David, for bringing that up, that at 70, we reach the fullness of our life, and then 13 years later, there's a tradition to have a bar mitzvah at age 83. I missed that benchmark because of COVID, but here I am. I might say something about that too, David, that you brought that up. It's never too early or never too late to get started. The second comes from the continual inspiration and encouragement of my beloved wife, Mimi. May her memories always be a blessing. She made a home that was based on Torah values, her faith, and can-do attitude encouraged my commitment to study Torah and Talmud. The third influence is my desire to do something in the nature of an ethical will for our grandchildren and those who are here. Over the years, I've had a lot of questions, and now is the time to sort through some answers, or at least some of my ideas. Today's Torah portion is Chukat. Chukat starts with death, the way that one becomes impure by touching a corpse, and the laws of the red heifer, which restore a person to purity. Chukat ends with life, as the Israelites continue their journey to the promised land. Chukat also includes the deaths of Miriam and Aaron and difficulties the Israelites encountered on their journey. In the first verse of today's Torah reading, Miriam dies. Miriam was associated with water and wells. After she died, the community was without water. The community quarreled with Moses, complaining, "Why did you make us leave Egypt to bring us to this wretched place, a place with no grain or figs or pomegranates? There's not even water to drink." The congregation upset Moses and Aaron to the extent that they came away from the congregation and fell on their faces. Then the source of water, the presence of the Lord, appeared to Moses and Aaron. God spoke to Moses, giving him directions of how to produce water from a rock, a miracle, to provide water for the congregation and their animals. Before the whole congregation, copious amounts of water was produced from the rock. When Moses struck the rock twice with his rod, God's instructions to Moses was to speak to the rock to produce water from the rock. But, and here's the key thing, what Moses did to produce the water was different than what God had instructed. Because of this breach, God said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust me enough to affirm my sanctity in the sight of the Israelite people, therefore you shall not lead this congregation into the land that I have given them." My comments about Chukat are a brief overview. Let's go back to the beginning of the Israelites' journey. When they crossed the Sea of Reeds, Moses and the Israelites sang the song at the sea, in which they exalted and praised God for redeeming them. However, as they continued on their journey, and as it became more difficult, they switched from praise to complaints. Their frustration without food and water is understandable. However, the people seem to have forgotten about expressing gratitude for many miracles that God provided and continues to provide on their journey and our journey from slavery to freedom to the promised land. Their complaining is what led me to reflect about the positive power of gratitude and about how it is associated with living a joyful life. This is different than a formal ethical will. However, it is about living a positive, good, and joyful life. Like most things in life, there are choices. One can choose a negative discipline of complaint that leads to despair, or one can choose a positive discipline that leads to joy. Our tradition recommends reciting 100 blessings a day. And what are these blessings? Essentially, they are expressions of gratitude. We give thanks for the physical, for the intellectual, and for the neshama, the spiritual part of us that was created in the image of God. We give thanks for the orderly function of the universe. We give thanks for what we observe in nature. The morning blessings of gratitude intertwine God, our gratitude prayers, and our soul. The morning gratitude prayers are positive, elevating, and optimistic. Our spirit of gratitude is strengthened by reciting these prayers consistently. Gratitude includes the active practice of recognition and expression of being grateful for the appreciation of benefits received. However, gratitude is much more, as it is a positive way of life with an outlook of positivity and goodness. Gratitude is a positive attitude that connects with appreciation, kindness, patience, generosity, and other elevating qualities. In this country, we receive a multitude of blessings every day, and we are the beneficiaries of the actions of our near and distant ancestors. And lest we forget, we are grateful for our health. The following is part of a nursery rhyme that includes items to be grateful for our health. The best 6 doctors anywhere, and no one can deny it, are sunshine, water, rest, and air, exercise, and diet. Why practice gratitude? Because with its consistent practice comes a spiritual strength that emerges as joy. Many of our holidays, Shabbat in particular, are occasions to joyfully celebrate what was and what is given us and allow us to express our gratitude for our blessings. Some, when they see a rainbow, complain about the rain. Others see the beauty of the colors and express their gratitude because they have a positive and optimistic view of life. What one perceives opens up possibilities to be grateful for everything. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was an MD, psychiatrist, and author, said about people who have recovered from suffering, the most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen. Having gratitude and being grateful are both part of the gratitude process of being thankful for everything. It is about receiving and giving. Although receiving gratitude and giving gratefulness are frequently merged as one, it is a 2-step process. Step 1, having gratitude by recognizing, appreciating, and receiving gifts of life received every day, all the time, and everything provided for us, which can be as simple as someone saying, "Hello, how are you?" Step 2, being grateful by giving and expressing appreciation by thanking in some way. In response to the step 1 example, doing well, thank you, how are you? How is gratitude developed? The practice of gratitude is soul work. It is an inwards journey that may be developed by prayer at services when connecting God, gratitude prayer, and the soul. Other ways of developing gratitude include a consistent daily practice of giving thanks throughout the day, meditation, journaling, volunteering, donating, helping others, and by noticing good things and appreciating them. Positive interactions between our physical outer life and our spiritual inner life result in the expression of joy in the outer life. The physical outer life and spiritual inner life affect each other. If the inner life has been consistently strengthened by thanking, positivity, and gratitude prayer, the influence from the inner life is positive, and the outer life will reflect joy, contentment, and peace. Gratitude for what is unseen builds faith and imagination. We become more aware of God's presence in our lives. Rabbi Shefa Gold says, gratefulness opens me up to receive the flow of blessing and connects me with the source of that flow. The next comments are by the best-selling author, Rabbi Harold S. Kushner, who passed away April 28th, this year at the age of 88. May his memories always be a blessing. It has been stated that Rabbi Kushner argued that God was omnipotent as a wellspring of empathy and love. What can prayer to God do? Rabbi Harold Kushner said, people who pray for courage, for strength, to bear the unbearable, for the grace to remember what they have left instead of what they have lost, very often find their prayers answered. They discover they have more strength and more courage than they ever knew themselves to have. Where did they get the strength, the hope, and the optimism? One would like to think that their prayers, people who cared, and the concerned community helped them tap hidden reserves of faith and courage. Ideally, we would go to services every day because people are short on time. A way of expressing gratitude in the morning when waking is to say something like these 8 words. God, thank you for this beautiful new day. Then the day begins with a positive and joyful frame of mind. And by starting the new day with gratitude and beauty, gratitude, beauty, and joy will be realized during the day. If, when we go to sleep, we say something like these 11 words, God, thank you for the precious time in this wonderful day, we will have started and ended the day in gratitude. Gratitude practice consistently opens and awakens us to opportunities and possibilities. Gratitude encompasses, cultivates, and is connected to qualities such as faith, kindness, empathy, joy, generosity, patience, other elevating qualities, and discipline. Discipline manifests most positive qualities. Discipline extended and acquired by the consistent practice of gratitude is transferable to other aspects of life. If gratitude and gratefulness are practiced daily and consistently in some way or ways, such as by prayer, by thanking, and by other gratitudes, it will result in a positive and joyful life. May you have much joy on your journeys. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.
So now what?
I'll sit for a minute. Sit for.
Your turn.
Thank you, Reuben. We are grateful for your words. Oh. Indeed, there's a beautiful teaching about mevarech al hara'a kefi shemevarech al hatova. You shall bless for the bad things that happen to you as you bless for the good things that have happened to you. And it's one of the most difficult mitzvot ever. To look at the face of what you have lost and to navigate that with the perspective that there are things that have been left to you, and that there is, as Rabbi Kushner says, it's a very, very difficult mitzvah, nonetheless a very important one, because at the end of the day, that plays a big role in how we navigate our lives. Now, thinking about how we navigate our lives, I want to share a very, very quick word about this Torah portion. We were discussing this morning in Torah study, what's the name of the Torah portion? Hukat. And the word chok means laws, right? Hukim umishpatim, we sing them before the Shema. Hukim umishpatim, they are what? Laws and judgment. That's a good initial translation. But basically, we are talking about two different kinds of law. One that goes by the name of hukim, and one that goes by the name of mishpatim. In this Torah portion, we are introduced to a mitzvah, to a chok. A mitzvah, a commitment, not a good deed, a commitment. To a chok that is kind of difficult to figure out what to do with. The chok of the red heifer. Have you heard about the red heifer? It's this ritual of purification in which if you have been contaminated or you are impure by certain circumstances, then you need to find a red heifer, and then those that assist you in gaining the state of purity, or not purity necessarily, but of not impurity. Again, then they become impure because they come in touch with the same thing that makes you pure. Difficult to understand, right? Say yes. Give me that. Thank you. So, the bottom line of rabbinical Judaism is that, we kind of don't know how to explain this chok. We don't know what to do with this chok. And it turns out that there are several mitzvot, several laws in the Torah that we don't know how to make sense of them. And then rabbinical Judaism says, well, there's a distinction between chukim and mishpatim. Mishpatim are all those mitzvot that we know how to make sense of them. That actually makes sense. No, you can translate that as gratitude. You can translate that as supporting others. They make sense. Hukim, well, with hukim, we just do it because it's the law. Even though we are not necessarily aware of what's the meaning of that law. And so the question is, shall we follow these laws, yes or not? Pia, you say yes. Unequivocal. Yes. And yes, because, I'm going to take a microphone for 1 second. Because it's the law. It's the law. And I was commenting on an article written by Rabbi Jacobs. Maybe you want to get back to me, so you hold it for 1 second. But I was commenting on an article written by Rabbi Jacobs this morning that he says, we need to get rid of this. He, of course, expressed that in a more eloquent way. And he says, we have these Messianic Jews in Israel that want to build a third temple in the Temple Mount, and they want to make these kind of sacrifices. And that's a problem because there is a mosque there, not a straight path forward. And the other component, and I know Torah study, I'm repeating myself, but I promise to twist this in a second. And then the other component, he says, and we have like these people in a group of evangelicals that are raising red cows in Texas. We don't go to Texas. So we do go to Texas. Beautiful to explore Texas. And I do go to Texas not to see red heifers or red cows. So Rick says, Rabbi Jacob says, like, this is exactly where the liberal Jewish identity is supposed to come and say, no more. No need for this enterprise. We acknowledge this. It happened in the past. It made sense then. And we move on into different practices. We have the Haftarah that tells us exactly how we rationally put ourselves, let's say, in touch with justice. The question ultimately is, do we have to understand and to be mindful of every single law that we follow? Is there a space for us to say, on the other hand, no, there are certain laws that I follow because that's how we do things. That's what we do. And let that be. So let's read the room. If you think that you need to understand every single law that you follow, I ask you to raise your hand. And if you think that no, that there are laws that we are not meant to understand and it's fine, I will ask you to raise your hand second. So first, do you think that we need to understand all laws? Raise your hand. We have the lawyers. We have sorry. And the architect, right? Like the two of you follow the law. And thank God. Okay, we had 2 more, 5. So most people think here that we don't have to. Pia, go. You have a microphone, conveniently located. It is. It's not working, but it's on.
I think what I was thinking about was there's laws. Can you hear me? Okay, there's laws that if we think too much, sometimes we think ourselves out of following laws when they should be followed. I'm thinking of like stop signs or red lights. We stop at red lights. And we don't look around and say, there's nobody here, I'm just going to go. We stop and we stay stopped. And the reason for that is because that keeps us safe. And if we decide whether or not to stop at a red light, eventually we will make the wrong decision because we don't see something or understand something, and then someone will die. So we stop at red lights even when we're in middle of nowhere and there's no cars anywhere, because that's how we keep ourselves safe. So I think that's what was in the back of my mind when I said, yes, you do it because it's the law, because when you start second guessing, then sometimes you can talk yourself out of something in a way that isn't good.
Brilliant. I love the example, and I will challenge that. I will say, where I grew up, in Argentina, depends where you are, and it depends in what hour you stop in a red light. Because there are places and there are hours in which you might not stop for a red light because it might be inconvenient or insecure to do that. Particularly if there's nobody, it means that there might be somebody, so you better go. So I think that I will challenge that by saying that what you are saying is there are laws that we are not supposed to question because that's how we are supposed to function as a society. And at the moment that you try to bring rationality to everything and you try to evaluate every single thing through your own lens, then it creates an imbalance in the society. On the other hand, that's also rationalization. Right? That's also a way to kind of make sense of that. So I will take any other takers. Diane, we'll take you, Richard, and then we're going to move forward so the people of Israel don't hate me.
There are people that think.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, there are people that drive certain cars here in the United States that because they drive, for example, a Tesla, they don't have to follow the rules.
Because they drive a Tesla or because they own Tesla, right? Like that's
I'll just add, building off of
By the
what-
way, I just want to say that all the Tesla drivers, I think it was a generic comment.
nobody here.
The people of Tesla, please do not feel offended.
I'll just build a little on what Pia said, which is, and I can't remember the example, unfortunately, but I remember just talking with my mom about an article that when I read the beginning of the article, I think it was probably some environmental regulation, and you read and you go like, oh, that sounds so dumb. And then you read further in the article and you go, when you get deeper into it, there's a reason. And when I started, I said, here, listen to this. And she had the same reaction at the beginning, and then when I read through it, okay. And I think my thinking also is just, and I'm speaking of secular laws, but you can expand it to any, I suppose, that, when there is some kind of a law, I think I tend to, what you want to say, follow it because, I may not know why, the whole story about why there is one, and have some sense of humility around who came up with that, and that people who know more about that area than I, maybe there was a good reason, which doesn't say that it's not worth studying and digging deeper and learning more what's behind it and understanding it better. But when you don't understand, still maybe someone might understand more than you do and why that was put in place.
Thank you very much. We're going to break the rule I just put, and we're going to take the video, and then we're going to close it because otherwise we're going to be here forever.
So I'm going to take the other side of this, and the other side
We're
is
waiting for you.
There are laws being passed right now in this country. Should we follow them? No. And we should know why they're being passed and why we shouldn't follow them.
Perfect. Thank you for bringing that up. And then I will challenge all those. And I'll say, but that's not the question. Because the reason to challenge a law, when you understand it, okay, it's a good reason. If you understand that the law is problematic, please go and challenge it. The entire thing around the red heifer is that doesn't make any sense. We have like hundreds of pages of rabbinical tradition around every single sentence of the Torah. And then the red heifer, and there are a few more hukim in our tradition that we don't know what to do with them. We don't know exactly if there's a purpose for them, but generically speaking, we decided that there is no purpose for them. That this is what it is, and this is what you are supposed to do. And I want to maybe lose focus. It's okay. I don't have a paper that I'm following. I have a paper here. So, and this is the thing I think I'd like to communicate and keep in mind. In Psalm 150, we say, Kol haneshama te'al el diyar. Like all souls will sing a song of praise, right? There are people that like to interpret that as kol neshima. Every single breath you take will be a song of praise. Neshama, breath. Sorry, neshima, breath. Neshama, soul. I want to say, I'll take a stand here, I think it's an impossible standard. We can make a deal with 100 blessings. No, good luck, but we can make a deal with 100 blessings. There are 100. But to be mindful and to be thinking of every single step you take, I think is the inability to walk. Ultimately, you cannot walk. If you need to think every single step you take, you're taking steps, you're not walking. We spoke about last night about listening to our conscience and trying to make sense and to be receptive of that. I also think that one of the challenges of liberal Judaism is not to make sense of everything. It's just to keep some traditions, just to keep certain things the way they are. And it's counterintuitive to the liberal mind, because we don't like to be told. We don't like to be instructed. And so how do we live with that tension? How do we make sense of that tension of, on one hand, understanding that if we need to make sense of every single step that we are taking, we might decide that we don't want to walk the walk. And if we don't make sense of anything, then we are not really who we are. The end of the Haftarah, of the prophetic reading for Parashat Balak, brings this idea, these words of prophecy from Micah. Micah says, אגיד לך אדם מה טוב ומה אדוני דורש ממך כי לעשות משפט בהבעת חסד בהצנע לכת עם אלוהיך. I will tell you, human beings, what's the bottom line of what I want. Micah says that in God's behalf. כי לעשות משפט, לא חוקים, משפט, to live your life with a judgment that is based באהבת חסד. And we usually translate chesed as loving kindness, but here the two words, kindness and love, come together as two different words. Abat chesed. אגיד לך אדם הטוב, מה השם דורך ממך, כי לעשות משפט באהבת חסד, בהצנע לכת, and to walk humbly. To walk humbly with your God. And I think that ultimately is the purpose. To decide that we'll take both. אלו באלו. The חוקים and the משפטים. And that we decide that we'll try to have a mindful walk, and that we also understand that the only way to walk is from time to time not to be thinking about every single step, and to be in the experience of walking. Because also that experience is worth something. So with that idea, we will get started with the reading of Parashat Chukat Balak.
יעמדו דוד ben Hara Binyamin Verina bat Label Harishon. For our first Aliyah, we invite up David and Carola Bamberger, who are members of Reuben's Chavurah, and to honor David also for all of the teaching that he does here in our congregation. So here, you come on this side. Can you hear me the yad? It's right by. Okay. David, we are right over here.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'notan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. And if you're following in the Chumash, you can find it on page 1152. We are in chapter 20, beginning with verse 1. I got it. Or you want to do it? Here, Michael, can you hold this? Mm-hmm. Okay, right up there, Dan.
Amen. Vayavo'u v'nei Yisrael kol ha'edah midbartzin b'chodesh harishon vayeshev ha'am b'kadesh v'tamot sham Miriam v'tikaver sham v'lo haya mayim la'edah Vayikalu al Moshe al Haron. Vayarev ha'am I Moshe vayomru lemor. Velu gavanu bigva achenu lifnei Adonai. Velama havetem et kal Adonai el hamidbar hazeh. Lamud sham anachnu uvireinu velama he'elitunu mi Mitzrayim lehavi otanu el Utena v'gefen v'rimon umayim ayin l'shtot.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam,
asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ya'amdu Yehoshua ben Dina v'Jemilia bat Dina v'Nina bat David u'Hachazan Devora v'Rachel bat David u'Hachazan Devora v'Mia bat David v'Hachazan Devora Hasheni.
Oh,
Okay, you guys ready to take that? Oh, wait, you gotta take the corner of your telly. You are right.
Don't go five times.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
The second Aliyah will begin with chapter 20, verse 6.
Amen. Kayavo Moshe v'Aaron mipnei hakahal el petach ohel moed vayiplu al pneihem vayira kavod Adonai alehem vayedaber Adonai al Moshe lemor kach et hamateh v'hakehel et ha'eda ata v'Aaron achicha v'dibartem el hasela le'eneihem v'natan meimav v'hotzita lahem mayim min hasela v'hishkita et ha'eda v'et v'iram v'yikach Moshe et hamateh milefnei Adonai ka'asher tzivahu vayakilu Moshe v'Aaron et hakahal el penei hasala vayomer lahem Shimuna hamorim hamin hasel hazeh notzi lachem mayim.
Okay, take the corner of your telly again. Here, take the corner. Papa shine. Here, we'll take that again.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ya'amdu David ben Reuven v'Jemaya v'Hachazan Zevora bat Chaim v'Rivka hashlishi. You'll get that, but we can take the corner. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayarem Moshe et yado, vayach et hasela b'matehu pamayim, vayetzu mayin rabim, vateshet ha'eda uviram, vayomer Adonai El Moshe v'Aaron Ya'an lo he'emantem bi lahakdisheni le'enei b'nei Yisrael lachem lo tavi'u et ha'kahal hazeh el ha'aretz asher natati lahem hema me meriva asher ravu B'nei Yisrael et Adonai v'yikadesh bam.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
So normally, Dad, this is where I asked you to go sit down
Oh, okay.
before I call you up, formally call you up to the Torah. So if you'll
Should I go
go
sit
take,
down?
yes, please.
Okay.
And that gives me a second to find it in the Torah. It's not that far if I remember. There it is. Okay. Beautifully. Ya'amor habachor habar mitzvah Reuven ben Ze'ev v'Rut hamaftir chazak. The maftir, actually to Chukat. We should be reading the maftir, but for Balak, but that's my fault. So anyways, we are on Numbers, chapter 21, verse 34, which you can find in the Chumash on page, thank you, 1162.
63.
1163. And then it'll move to 1164. First, and then you can say the blessing. Okay, so you're going to be right there. And then we're going to say the blessing.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamuvarach.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamuvarach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe al tira oto ki v'yadcha natati oto vet kol amo vet artso ve'asita lo ka'asher asita L'sichon melech Amori asher yoshev b'cheshbon vayaku oto vet banav v'kol amo ad bilti hishir lo sarid vayirshu et artso vayisu b'nei Yisrael vayachanu be'arvot Moav Me'ever li'Yarden Yericho. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ישברך אבותינו ואמותינו, אברהם יצחק ויעקב, של רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את כל העולים והעולות לתורה. May the one who bless our ancestors will bless all those who came up to the Torah in honor of God, Shabbat, the Torah itself, and Reuben's Bar Mitzvah. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless all of you in all your endeavors with strength, with health, with a meaningful life. We have a few more blessings, Reuben. Wait.
Okay.
We'll share them then. With a meaningful life, a life of strength, and with joy, with lots of simcha, to celebrate in life together with all Israel. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen.
we will also take a moment to acknowledge those that are dealing with illness. משברך אבותינו ואמותינו, אברהם יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את החולים. May the one who bless our ancestors will bless those who are ill. And if you are thinking of someone dealing with illness in their bodies, in their souls, carrying grief, or dealing with addictions, we invite you to share their names as we go around the room. Iris?
Shlomo ben Daniel.
Bruce Roberts, Alfreda Massman, Diane Siegel, Gail Frankel, Scott Van Gundy, Daphne Talmor, Mara Engel, Dave Stahl, Greg Herb, Murray Siegel, Lori Shakin, Sue Leiter, Bobby Miller, Laura Sternberg, Margaret McGuan, Carol Rosenberg, Ken Crown, Denise Pringle, Sue Heller, Andrea Westgate, Richard Ravitch, Bernice Paris, Franklin Wolfson, Helen Curlin, Karen Katzman, Jay Stanton, Micah Rawson.
הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם, לרפאותם ולהחזיקם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, הסתה וגלה בזמן קריב. May the blessed Holy One be filled with health, with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit together with all Israel, and let us say,
Amen.
we wish to all of them, to all of you, refuah shlema, the full and complete recovery.
Hagba. Ya amdu, Hagma biva hagolalot, ya amor, Yehoshua ben Dina, ta'amo, Jimili badina. We rise as the Torah is lifted. No, we can't. I can sight reach out easily. Okay, so just pull it down this way. Ota Torah, Asher sam Moshe, Lifnei b'nei Yisrael, al pi Adonai, b'yad Moshe.
Shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omer. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omer. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim.
You may be seated.
So we'd like to invite up Gail and Reuben to come back up. Gail is going to present Reuben with a little gift and some words.
Gail can't just come up and give some gifts. So, Reuben, your second bar mitzvah falls on a milestone weekend. Oh, Nico left. Falls on a milestone weekend for Shir Hadash. Not only are we celebrating you, but we are welcoming a new associate rabbi, Rabbi Michael Walden, and we are also celebrating the first anniversary of our Rabbi Nico's arrival at Shir Hadash. In this post-COVID year, Rabbi Nico has brought us back together as a community, supported us, and encouraged us. Mazel tov to the entire clergy staff. You enrich our community. Reuben, I am so flattered that I was asked to be your temple board representative today. I watched with pleasure and admiration this morning as you completed your second bar mitzvah, surrounded by family and friends and love. As I thought about our past together at Shir Hadash, I could not help think, that there was first just Devorah and her soap opera digests. Those slipped away as David entered the picture and love surrounded them. Then Reuben and Mimi, of blessed memory, left one community to join with David and Devorah and found a welcoming community here at Shir Hadash. Although I do not know you as a scholar, I knew you and Mimi as parents and grandparents who surrounded their family with love, attention, and babysitting. Through your daughter Dina's illness and death, the birth of your grandchildren Nina, Rachel, Mia, Amelia, and Kamali, you were and are still very present in their lives and truly much beloved. We at Shir Hadash could not be prouder of you. And it is my pleasure, on behalf of the board and the entire temple community, to present you with your own Kiddush cup and a certificate testifying to the fact that you have completed your second bar mitzvah. Reuben, You are part of a 3-generation family at Shir Hadash, which inspires our community. May your future be bright and filled with joy and love. May goodness and happiness follow you all the days of your life, and may you remain as loving and caring as you are today. Mazel tov.
Mazal tov.
Mazal
Thank you
tov.
for all that, Gil. If you have time, and I think you have time, I have like 1 minute or less story.
Less.
So it is a
You have to,
story.
if you want
that-
anyone here, you have to
yeah,
hold the microphone
It's
there.
a story that fits in with what we talked about today, and in particular with complaining. And what the story is about is a group of animals that are gathered around and they're chatting. And a bird shows up. And the bird starts complaining. The bird is complaining, wanting to be big and strong like an elephant. And then the bird complains about being unable to run fast like a cheetah. And then the bird complains because it doesn't have a strong mouth and sharp teeth like a lion. And then someone said, "Bird, what are you talking about? You have the greatest gift of all. You can fly, you can raise yourself."
Thank you. We will invite now the entire family to join us at the bima. And kind of shechir. So we will come here. Stay close. And we'll invite the congregation. This is how this is going to work. We're going to say a few words to you. Then Rabbi Michael really, really wants to throw candy at you. So then we're going to throw you. We're going to throw candy. We're going to use your grandchildren to throw you some candy. And then the family and you will take the microphones that are open, and you will return the Torah to the ark together, and the entire congregation will rise. And if you are in shape and form, we invite you to already. Please rise. You can rise on your legs or in your spirits. Reuben, come to me for 1 second. Reuben, may the eternal source of blessing shower his abundant grace upon you as you stand before us in this occasion, this joyous occasion of your second bar mitzvah. Today, as we gather to celebrate just a milestone in years, but a testament of a remarkable journey, Reuben has chosen a unique path, one of gratitude as a guiding principle, leading him towards well-being and strength. In a world often filled with uncertainty and challenges, Reuben has discovered the power of gratitude. Through every trial and triumph, he has chosen to focus on the blessings bestowed upon him, cherishing each moment and finding solace in the smallest joys. With wisdom and fortitude, Reuben has grown in his understanding of Torah and the teachings that guide us. Today, as he stands as a bar mitzvah, a testament of the power of these ancient words, for he has not only learned them, but truly lived them. His actions and deeds reflect a deep understanding that gratitude is a transformative force. May your journey, Reuben, be filled with boundless joy and blessings. May your heart, overflow with love and peace, nurturing those who you encounter on your path. May you be a source of inspiration, reminding us, all of us, to choose gratitude in the face of adversity, for in doing so, we find strength and purpose. As we come together to celebrate this second bar mitzvah, we offer our communal prayers and blessings to you, Reuben. May the divine presence accompany you in every step of the way, guiding you toward a future filled with fulfillment, happiness, and prosperity. And because this is you, I also want to quote Pirkei Avot. Chapter 6, Mishnah 7. Great is Torah, for it gives life to those that practice it, in this world and in the world to come. As it is said, for they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. And it says, it will be a cure for new navel and marrow for your bones. And it says, she is a tree of life to those that grasp her, and whoever holds on to her is happy. And it says, for they are a graceful wreath upon your head, a necklace about your throat. And it says, she will adorn your head with a graceful wreath. Crowns with, the Hebrew is easier, crown you with a glorious diadem. And it says, in her right hand is length of days. In her left, riches and honor. For they will bestow on you length of days, years of life, and peace. Mazal tov, dear Reuben, on your second bar mitzvah. May your journey be filled with an abundance of blessings, and may your choice of gratitude continue to be a source of strength and well-being for you and all those who surround you. And now shower him with candle. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yelanu, 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 oh lechol am Yisrael. Sorry, Reuben, but I have to. Yelanu, yelanu, oh lechol am Yisrael. David Melech Israel, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Israel, Chai Chai V'Kayam. Please remain standing as we return the Torah to the ark. And you family members, may you take some microphones and you accompany Grandpa, Mom, and Aunt as they return the Torah to the ark.
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history and song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור we protect this chain. From generation to generation. לדור ודור these lips will praise your name.
עץ חיימי, למה חזיקים בה, את תומכיה מאושר, דרכיה, דרכי נועם, בכל נתיבותיה, שלום, השיבנו אדוני, לך ונשובה, חדש ימינו בקדם. Page 587, עלינו לשבח.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו, וגומר עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. נאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we are about to conclude our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, please rise. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, please rise. If you are during the cycle of the first year, the first 11 months of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. Heidi?
Dr. Grace Deutsch, my mother.
Friend.
Jack Long, my husband.
If you have a yahrzeit this week, the anniversary of someone's passing by this time of the year in years past, please rise and share with us who you're remembering.
Isaac Isidore Leiter, my grandfather.
Jerome Scholar.
We remember those who died within this last year: Dahlia Schneider, Michael Pleiner, Joyce Levine, Shirley Israel, Thelma Turner, Marilyn Graben, Alan Feigen, Jonah Anschel, Sharon Lowenbrown, Sheila Bamberger, Dr. Grace Deutsch, Clarissa Glotzer, Stephen Bornstein, Richard Kennemer, Ethel Schenker, Varda Satchi, Rabbi Tlalit Shavit, Jack Long, Virginia Larson, Miriam Maurer, Bob Sturman, Lenora Wang, Adam Richard Spilka, Shlomo Isips, Howard Levine, Barbara Lombard, Claire London, Drago Herman, Merle Greenwald, Samuel Grinwald, Anita Cumula, Bryce Lyon, Edna Stone, Miriam Davis, Lauren Janovich, Janet Wool, Charlene Kilgore, Ezra Satit Satchi, Gideon Hoffer, Alvin Kramer Siegel, Velasta Vijanovich, Galina Buturina, Karen Imbalzano, Lillian Berman, Robert Bruce Myers, Abraham Karras, Scott Safadi, Norman Green, Marilyn Silverman, Leslie Heinall, David Green, Jeannie Porish, Estelle Abrams, Spencer Caney, Arthur Cherdak, John Ivers, Marilyn Handelman, Kay Dameron, Nira Marome, Andrea Cameron, Ziba Feruzin, and those who died at this season in years past. Bob Eppinger, Eleanor Curlin, Esther Dine, Ethel Fergutstein, Florence Steiner, Harriet Lappin, Isidore Isig-Leiter, Jack Rosson, Jeanette Pickard, Lorraine Olson, Marvin Browndorf, Pauline Lagarde, Arlenette Jenkins, Rita Latween, Roy Allen Uffer, Samuel Goodman, William Brunner, Zella Greenfield. And now you can support our community by standing or sitting, joining us with your voices or your hearts for Kaddish Avilim, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. And I want to also add that we want to remember Mimi Levy of blessed memory, who is here with us today in spirit. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lomei almayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen.
May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life. Yes, Zichram Baruch. You may be seated. One announcement. Flip Shabbat and the activity for this.
Two brief announcements. You can find all of them on our website, all announcements on our website, and everything on our calendar. But on beginning this coming next Friday, July 7th, we have our first of many Flip-Flop Shabbat out on the patio.
3 times, Cantor.
Flip-Flop Shabbat, Flip-Flop Shabbat, Flip-Flop Shabbat.
Good. I said a flip.
Wine and
Flop.
cheese for the adults, and snacks and games for the kids at 5:30 p.m., followed by services at 6 p.m., note the new time 15 minutes earlier, and dinner served around 7 p.m. Registration is on the website. And then, just as a preview, on Saturday, July 15th, we'll have Torah study as usual at 9:30 a.m., and at 10:30 p.m. we will have our Caring Shabbat service, and afterwards there will be a lunch. Please register, and Rabbi Michael Walden and I will lead a conversation around how our community handles addiction and recovery, and we hope you will join us for that. And please stay for the Kiddush luncheon today in honor of Reuben becoming a second bar mitzvah on behalf of our family.
As Rabbi Mike Walden said earlier, now you're a man.
Squared.
So our concluding song, I'm going to invite the girls to come up. Our concluding song is on page 631, En que Elohenu non como vuestro Dios.
Want to acknowledge the Ladino tradition in Reuben's family.
Malqueno, en que Moshienu, no como nuestro Dios, no como nuestro Dios, no como nuestro Rey, no como nuestro Salvador. Mi Elohenu, mi Kadonenu, mi que Malqueno, mi que Moshienu, que como nuestro Dios, que como nuestro Señor, que como nuestro Rey, que como nuestro Salvador.
cabezas. Estamos, shalom, Shabbat shalom, מבורך, everybody. יאללה, 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 יאללה,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Oh my gosh.